When we're talking about the aged male horse, stallion, with intact with testicles, the concerns that we have, if you come to me and ask me, I think, this stallion I would like to breed, usually the genetics of your horse, you're going to know that they're valuable and people will have probably used in a breeding program before. But if the stallion is a novice, which means that he's never bred or never had experience with semen collection, we are going to need to assess his libido and his ability to produce sperm. And so that would be achieved by bringing him into a center where we can collect semen using a dummy mount and ensure that the testicles are normal, that the sperm is normal, and that it has good motility. And that doesn't even tell us about the fertility. So hopefully if the stallion's bred previously, we have that information. But if he hasn't, those are all questions that we're going to need to answer. And so doing what we call a breeding soundness exam in stallions usually involves 2 collections about an hour apart, and we look at the total number of sperm, their morphology, their motility, and then how long they last over a period of several days under cooled conditions. And that will give us some idea of just his sperm parameters. Again, it doesn't tell us about fertility, but it would tell us how well he might do in a cooled ship breeding program. Considerations for a stallion, if he's never bred before, would be, is he actually interested in the mares? Does he have good libido? Does he have arthritis? Are there things that are going to be problematic for him in a breeding program? And how do we make that breeding program maximize his fertility and comfort in it? So in older horses, that may be increasing exercise to get his muscles and entire kind of physique primed. Maybe certain situations as stallions get older, they may start to decrease their testosterone, and say we may need to house them with mares or do other things to increase his endogenous testosterone secretion. And I would be remiss to say that if you have an intact stallion as he gets older, you're always going to be wanting to monitor his testes for any evidence of tumors or neoplasia, because in stallions as they get older, or if they're cryptorchid, they are at risk for cancers. And so that's something you want to monitor, because if you're not going to be using him for a breeding program, it may be wise to have him castrated at some point. So one of the questions is, how old is a stallion? Is he ever too old to breed? And again, this is going to be similar to other domestic species where it's very variable on the individual. There are some older stallions that maintain excellent fertility as they age, and through feed supplements, increased exercise, and housing changes, you can optimize or increase his testosterone secretion and actually have stallions into their mid-20s as part of a successful breeding program. Also, with advanced reproductive techniques, as a stallion's seminal quality or his sperm quality decreases, there are things we can do, such as deep horn insemination or centrifuging semen. And there are some older stallions or stallions with poor semen quality that we can kind of optimize what we're doing, having the mare ovulate close to the time of breeding, inseminating the sperm very close to the oviduct where the sperm needs to enter so it can bypass the uterus. So there's advanced reproductive techniques that we will pull into play when we're trying to optimize a low fertility stallion. The thing that's important is getting the evaluation done so that you know what you're working with, whether the stallion has excellent sperm numbers and sperm quality. Maybe the semen looks okay, but it actually doesn't achieve fertilization. So again, an evaluation with a reproduction specialist or theriogenologist to help you figure out what your stallion's semen quality is. And I would also say it's very important to do a lameness exam and overall health, as well as endocrine assays such as for PPID and metabolic syndrome, as those can adversely affect his fertility. So again, as we talked about in the older mare, it's just as important to make sure that your stallion is as healthy as he can be so that his reproductive efficiency is maximized.